This is our final big feature film podcast. We're going to revamp it, kind of. And it's actually our 51st episode of the Big Feature Film Podcast. So we've technically been doing it a year. We've been doing it over a year, but we have a year's worth for each week. So,
that's true.
And what's a better one to end on than an MCU movie?
Yeah.
So it works out. But we're going to revamp it. And I mean, I'll go ahead and say what we're doing. We're doing the BFF reviews, since we're shortening these down, making them more digestible content. We'll probably bring in some stuff from one of our previous shows, Film Report, where we talk about our favorite characters, possibly favorite scenes, stuff like that, which is just quick and simple stuff to add to our talking time.
Hello, everybody. We're the Continuity Crew. I'm Win,
And I'm Will.
and today we're gonna be talking about probably one of the most important Marvel movie for Phase 4.
You could
kinda
say
is.
You could say that.
Yeah.
You could say that.
Well, the thing is, like, I say important because it's post Avengers,
It
so that
is.
means the OGs are kind of gone.
There's a lot. I mean, you could look at some of this as like setting up new Thanos type stuff, honestly.
It is a little.
But we'll get into that. As always, subscribe for more reviews like this. We're going to be doing Spider-Man and Hawkeye when they come out. So if you're into this MCU stuff, subscribe, and check out our other videos and like all that good stuff. So let's just talk about review Eternals, talk about it as a film, as a movie. Wayne, I want to know what you thought.
Now, you said Venom was like Iron Man. I feel like this is way more like Iron Man.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you said that Venom 2.
No, I
Let there
said
be
I
Carnage.
said Shang-Chi.
Oh, I thought it was Venom, but either
No,
way,
I was like, that's bold of me to say, but yes.
either way, this is more like Iron
No,
Man,
I would
feel
agree.
like, because like it's what it's like Jon Favreau's footsteps, basically.
Yeah, it's
where
an independent story.
it's an independent director. It's an indie director, I should say.
Yeah.
New vision
Award-winning.
for everything. Yeah, award-winning. New vision for the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. A different take on like superhero genre, I guess. But that's as far as I can go.
Yes, I would agree with everything you said. It is definitely closer to Iron Man. I did say Shang-Chi was closer to like an Iron Man feel because they are kind of resetting things in the MCU.
Yeah.
Except I guess the biggest thing would be Spider-Man and even like Doctor Strange that's coming up after that. Those are continuing stories that we have going on from like shows and stuff like that.
And I think Spider-Man is going to split from Marvel after this one.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Because
but-
I heard that, not heard, but there's like a lot of rumors about how they were going to continue the Amazing Spider-Man story.
yeah, I hope they do that.
And they were going to do something with Tobey Maguire. So I
to
don't
like
know.
wrap that up. That'd be cool. We'll probably talk about more about future MCU stuff later in the episode, so make
Yeah.
sure you keep watching. Yeah, I think this movie is it's different. It doesn't feel like an MCU movie. It almost feels like it could be the start of a whole nother universe almost. Like it reminds me actually of like my DC rewrite that we did. I said like the
Yeah,
new gods
New
were gonna
Gods.
start it.
Yeah.
This is kind of like almost how I imagined it, kind of, sort of. But like it's starting without these celestial beings and stuff like that, which you couldn't have done in 2008. The MCU wouldn't be where it is now if they
Yeah, thinking about it, this is a really big step in the MCU stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we've got Captain Marvel kind
Yeah.
of with space stuff, but these are some heavy hitters that they've introduced with the Celestials, the Eternals, and Deviants as characters. And even, again, talk about more stuff, spoilers later in a second. There's some other characters that are introduced that are just going to be huge, big hitters, and it'll be very interesting to see in, who knows, Avengers 5 or whatever we get next. That big group meeting that we'll eventually get, I'm sure, with the MCU. Because, God, I can't imagine. So, there's so many characters I want to see interact. So.
Yeah. I really wanted to see more of Icarus, but the way they ended this movie, I was like, well.
We'll see. We'll see, honestly.
Unless they're going to pull bullshit. Like, it was fine.
They'll probably will.
Probably.
But I am interested to see all these characters interact. On the note of like characters,
Yeah.
I think, who was your favorite character? Because I think we both said the same thing.
Either Icarus,
God, what was her name?
well, yeah,
I feel bad.
the Flash. The Flash and probably not Ajax. Who was the other one?
Makari, yeah.
Makari. What was the other one? The green one.
The green one?
The Power Rangers, yeah. What was her name? She was in
Sprite?
Crazy Rich Asians.
No. Who?
No, top left.
Circe.
I can never remember
Yeah,
her name.
yeah, there's a lot of good characters, honestly. They give it's a long enough movie, they give some characters some good depth. I'm glad they gave it now and then instead of later.
I honestly think it would have been better if they did it in a second movie.
Yeah, I did hear that they may not be doing a second one necessarily. They'll just probably be continuing in other movies.
They're just gonna put them in little sprinkles of other movies.
Continuing elsewhere. And I could definitely see them doing that because I think it was one of the producers was like, we don't need to have 3 of these. That is the formula, but we just kind of laid the groundwork, and now these characters can just be out there, which is good. And on the MCU side, I'm happy about. Necessarily movie wise, whether that was a good or a bad thing. Meh.
On my review here on my notes, I said Eternals is a very ambitious movie, even with that Marvel money.
Yeah, it is.
Because there's a lot of characters, man. It's like, what? There's 10
Eternals.
10 Eternals in this 2.5 hour movie.
And then you could include Dane Whitman. You could include the Celestials, almost
the Deviants, even.
Yeah, as new characters. This is a whole brand new world. So that is kind of like you were saying. It's like a kind of an Iron Man type deal where it's we're resetting, which is really cool.
And something I didn't expect you to say was that it's not a very good movie. I mean, it's not great.
Yeah, it's not.
But it's not bad.
It's not. I mean, it's there's a lot of moments even outside of because there's not something we both enjoy and that we're gonna get in a month or so from Spider-Man is that MCU excitement, that nostalgia, those one-liners, those communications between characters. We're gonna get a ton of that in Spider-Man. There wasn't much of this in this, so you kind of had to rely more on the character itself and stuff and I think that's why this movie probably isn't being received critically well, which shows that you shouldn't listen to critics because they're basing it off of other stuff like that. While people the Rotten Tomatoes score was the big deal. It was at a 60. It's the lowest rated critically for the MCU, but I'm pretty sure the audience score is an 80 something, and that's not bad at all. So
I think just for once though, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I do see why critics
I do
will
too.
give it, but I think this movie really suffered from a lot of padding. There's way too many things in there that didn't need to be included.
Absolutely.
That didn't need to be in there.
Movie.
Yeah, it's for example, that love story with Icarus and Circe. Yeah. That was way too much. I think if they cut that down, the sex scene, what the fuck?
We had sex in the MCU.
That was really weird. That was
it was interesting.
It was. It's
I didn't press start, but it's fine.
It just didn't make sense to me that they would keep that. Much of
I would
it,
agree.
at least.
I think they could have just not heavily in the relationship. I don't know. Yes, in the relationship, but just not how they did it.
Not heavily rely on it too much.
Because it is to show that Icarus is kind of not really connected with these people, while Circe is very in love with the humankind, and that's kind of develops later in the movie. But it's still it's too heavily padded, kind of like you were saying.
It's just I feel if they didn't even add that in there, I think it would have still worked as a movie. I think it would still been fine if they just had some sort of let's say mental relationship or some stupid ass connection or something like that. If they were just they have a connection or whatever.
Yeah.
I still don't like the fact that they keep talking about themselves like family.
Yeah.
I think that's just, I don't know. That's just my fucked up mind, I guess. Or
I mean, I hear what you're saying. It is they've been around with each other for
7,000 years, something
millions of years, technically. Yeah. Besides that, I think this is a pretty good movie. I think, it's and since we are going to be changing our formatting around here, do you want to go ahead and do our review or rating out of 10 now and then talk more technical stuff? We'll start putting these, and we can even be go to this for our final rating or something. I don't know. But review wise, hold on, let's touch on technical stuff.
Okay, go for it.
CGI in some parts really fucking good. Sometimes really fucking bad.
I think the really fucking good you're talking about is the practical sets.
I was talking like the Celestial. That
Oh,
looked
okay.
really good.
Oh, okay.
The characters themselves. I mean, that was costuming more than anything because I'm pretty sure they had like actual costumes.
Yeah.
The Deviants didn't look good.
No, I don't think Chloe
Their
Zhao.
powers looked good.
I don't think Chloe Zhao was prepared for that or anything.
That
I
would
don't think
make
she was
sense.
like. I don't think she was like in that mind of like, for example,
yeah.
Jon Favreau, because like Jon Favreau was already introduced and they already had like practical effects and stuff. But
Yeah.
I think with this one, this was so heavily
Out of her wheelhouse.
Yeah, and it's
It's
overly
new.
reliant too on the VFX stuff because like
Absolutely.
I'm sure they changed a whole lot of shit in this movie.
Yeah.
One thing I did love about the whole technical spec is that the practical sets looked really good.
Yeah. Like I
on
remember
camera.
probably like 3 years ago, I remember the set of Babylon, like the blue and gold like walls and stuff. I remember seeing that. I'm like, I wonder what that's gonna be in this.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it looked good. So.
It looked good. It's when they start going into like the island, for example. Some parts of it just looked really wonky. For example, like I didn't even mean to like. I didn't think I was paying attention all that much with this VFX, but when she was doing that hands thing, or when lava was flowing or whatever, it looked really wonky. The rocks looked like they were floating.
Oh yeah.
I just remember seeing that and I was like, wow, that looks really strange for this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of good and bad, and I think that's this entire movie. So,
But I think you and I can agree the Flash girl was great. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's how the Flash should be. I do like what they do with Ezra Miller's, like the electric flowing, how he runs. But when I think the Flash, I think more of this.
Yeah, and the way she did the finishing move, that was sick.
Yeah, like the moving around and stuff. Like that's so cool, and maybe we'll get that in the Flash. Probably not, but we'll see.
Probably the highlight for me of this movie. Anything else was just kind of like, eh.
Yeah. There is the final, like the climax and everything was pretty cool. There were some good moments there, but
don't forget the aspect ratio changing.
Oh yeah. So one thing I will say, we go see most of our movies in IMAX. Don't go watch this one in IMAX. Go watch the next tier down of whatever it is.
RPX?
Yeah, like RPX probably would have been good for this. RPX is so loud though, and like
no.
But there's just they keep changing the aspect ratio, and like these when it's just having a simple conversation, it's an IMAX shot, and then they go back to the whatever the ratio.
I think it's 16:9, 21:9.
They go to that, and I'm just like, this just hurts my eyes.
Yeah, they go to
this is already
widescreen.
a lot to take in, just colors and everything. But that was just,
I first noticed it in the very beginning.
it was
like out of nowhere, just like whoa.
It's like, why'd we do that? There's some cool characters. Like I liked Angelina Jolie. She was pretty badass as Thena. A lot of the Eternals powers are just kind of shit though. It's kind of funny. I mean, that is their whole thing. Like everyone has a different power, but it's
I was really trying to make a parallel between them and the Justice League. I guess Icarus would be Superman.
Yeah.
Athena would be Wonder Woman, I guess.
Kari would be Flash.
Yeah. But
the Fastos, he'd be Cyborg with the technology.
Yeah, that's true. Or Batman.
Yeah,
not as cool as Batman, but Batman.
They were just trying to be like, look, we can do Justice League better.
Yeah, pretty much. But I don't know if it was better.
Yeah,
I don't think it was better.
I mean, maybe better than the Whedon cut, but that's not hard.
I hated the fact that they just kept going with the. Oh yeah, we're just gonna advance their technology a bit. Here's an engine.
Yeah,
I didn't like that very much.
I thought it was funny. Like, I will say, this movie was a little bit cringy.
It was. It was.
Typically, I'm like, it's whatever. But no, I was like, that's kind of too tongue in cheek. I'm like,
Down from like the funny moments to like the really weird love circle between what is it?
Yeah,
Cersei, Icarus, Sprite, and apparently Ajax.
Well, Ajax,
I don't know if that was like
Ajax is supposed to be like Icarus's mom, kind of.
I thought they said. I guess they didn't say in love.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. No, I thought it was very cringy. You're right.
It was cringy. There's a lot of emotion in this movie that was just not needed.
Yeah, and the way they handled the gay couple thing, I don't think it was that bad.
That's
It really wasn't that
it
bad.
wasn't bad at all. That's the only reason was getting hated on is because it was a gay relationship and people
get over yourself.
are homophobic.
At this point, I'm just like, I
thought it was done pretty good. I was just like, okay. It didn't. A lot of movies, I'll give it a prop. I don't know. Like I was normally in movies, it's like, haha, look, gay couple.
Yeah.
This one just felt like very natural. It just happened. I was like, okay.
And I hate people for like being like, oh, well, Disney doesn't like gay couples or whatever, so they don't put them. I don't. And then they come out with this, and they're like, oh, they're just putting them in. It's like, what? What?
Nobody can be happy.
I guess not.
But it is what it is. But that's, I guess, kind of the review of Eternals. It's a good, not so good, kind of good. It's good enough.
I think it's somewhat of a good step for
It is.
Marvel. It's different. It doesn't have the Marvel formula like
They're just knocking that off their checklist. I bet they have
the
like
indie style.
Yeah, just they have to have like an indie style. They're gonna have
Every
to have
genre.
horror.
Yeah.
They're just gonna knock them all off the list. And I mean, fair enough. I mean, they're just like printing their legacy or whatever.
I think
more
this
and
is
more
a good
every
step
day.
for Chloe Zhao too.
Yeah.
But she did perform a little better than Wonder Woman director. I don't remember her name. Patty Jenkins. She did a little better. It's funny because I think what Chloe Zhao did was she did a little better with the fighting scenes and all that action scenes and sequences. When Patty Jenkins didn't do that very well, but Patty Jenkins did like romantic scenes very well because she can like
she can do like dialogue and stuff like that.
Yeah, she does. She does that very well. But Chloe Zhao can do that.
That's kind of interesting because. Well, and she can. We saw that in Nomadland, but it'd be interesting to see her do like an action movie or something outside of the MCU. Because of course you've got Disney, Kevin Feige, you've got other forces in this besides the director.
Oh, that's another thing. This movie felt like it felt very Disney.
A little bit.
It's just way more Disney than I expected it to be. I mean,
there was sex in it though, so.
That's true. It's like Disney,
Eat
but
your
not
heart
Disney. Oh no, I guess what I'm trying to say is it feels like Kevin Feige wasn't there.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Yeah.
They kind of just, I don't know. It's interesting.
They
It's
just gave her the money.
Yeah, this is such a weird movie.
Are we ready to get our ratings?
Yeah,
I'm very curious with yours.
Let's give our ratings. You want me to go first?
Go for it.
So we do 2 ratings. We do critical and entertainment. Out of 10, I'm giving this a 6.5 out of 10.
Okay. That means it's good over above average. We should explain that beforehand.
Okay.
1 out of 10, like 10 being like the best.
The best. Yeah. So like I honestly had this normally my ratings change before we film. I have this like right after the movie. I'm like, it's a 6.5. That's it. It's better than good, but not enough to be like
it's not enough
7.
to be in the top
It's
5.
not enough to be a 7.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm gonna say this movie, entertainment wise, 5.5.
Entertainment or critical?
Oh, critical. Sorry, critical wise, 5.5.
Okay.
I like that they're like exploring a weird.
Like I'd like to see more of
in
this.
between kind of genre.
Because it can be done better.
It can. Yeah, I'd love to see more of Chloe Zhao directing something. In this look of it just looks so interesting from the beginning. It just felt different.
I think the time jump stuff is like kind of where people probably fell off because it's a lot to take in, and it's supposed to be in a way because they're trying to get a lot done with this one movie. So it's real interesting, but
it is a lot for like a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it got really jarring with the flashbacks and shit.
Yeah. So entertainment wise, I'm gonna say a 5, middle of the road 5. Like there's some great moments. I really think the climax was cool. How they did it was kind of iffy, but like, so everything that was good I could draw back on and be like, oh, this was meh. So I'm giving it a 5 out of 10.
This is gonna surprise you, but I'm gonna give it like a 6.5. Beforehand, I did say that I would give this a bigger entertainment rating, only because I really wish this was like Justice League. And that's all I could think of the entire time was like, what if this was Justice League?
There was
what
a
if
lot
this
of
was Superman.
I was just thinking about it. Yeah, there's so many things like you can compare like the gathering of everybody
and Flash Girl just
and every
running around.
character
I thought that
has
was
a
really
parallel.
sick.
And they even said Superman and Batman in the movie.
Yeah, the first crossover, I guess. I don't know, in the movie theaters.
Real interesting to see.
But overall, this movie suffered from being way too much, being compacted into this 2 hour and a half, even 2 hours.
Yeah,
and a half
it's
is
like
long.
this should
It's
have
just-
been like 2 movies, but like they were just trying to get a lot done.
Yeah.
And it's a similar problem in a way to like Black Widow of like this should have been done 10 years ago. And it's like this should have been split into like 2 movies, or this should have been done at a separate time. It's a similar thing. They're trying to get a lot done. I'm sure they have the next like 10 years planned out. So it's just like we gotta get going. So but yeah, Harry Styles is Thanos' brother, which I am still baffled by. I'm confused by both post-credit scenes. Well, not necessarily the second one anymore, but we'll talk about it. But like it's weird. So Titan, he's an Eternal and he's Thanos' brother. So Thanos is, I'm assuming in the comics, part deviant, part Eternal. But I'm just like, okay, I don't know. I'm excited.
This is why it should have been purple.
Should have been purple.
Should have been purple.
And then our second post-credit scene, we have Jon Snow. He knows nothing. We have Kit Harington, and he is Dane Whitman, who is Black Knight in the comics. And he finds the sword that he has. I'm assuming he talked to his uncle because that's what Cersei told him to do.
Or hand me down.
And so he like opens it, and it's like this cool looking sword. It's super badass. And then we hear this mysterious voice saying, what does he say? Are you sure you want to do that?
I don't know. I think, are you ready for that or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Basically, he Nick Fury'd it.
Yeah, honestly. And then it's not said who it is, but it was confirmed by Chloe Zhao. It's Blade. Mahershala.
Apparently, it was confirmed.
Apparently, Kit Harington did too. So I'm assuming it is. So that's pretty cool. We're not gonna know for sure about Blade for maybe a year. Maybe we'll get another post-credit scene.
Mm-hmm.
I could see it. Anyways, though, that's just your cut.
Yeah, that is usually my cut. Yeah.
Anyways, though, that's been our continuity. Anyways, though, thank y'all for watching. We've been the Continuity Crew. I'm Will. That's Win. And as always, thank y'all for watching. We love movies. We love y'all. See you on the next one.